Well, joining me now, three of my favorite political analysts, all CNN contributors, by the way. Republican strategist Ed Rollins, who served as White House political director under President Reagan, chaired the Mike Huckabee presidential campaign. And syndicated columnist Miguel Perez, also journalism professor at Lehman College in New York, and Democratic strategist Hank Scheinkauf. Gentlemen, let's start with, what do you make of Rahm Emanuel being caught 21 times on the Justice Department's taping machine?
Big deal. Look, he's a
big deal. That's a lot of time.
Hold on.
That's a lot of time to spend.
He was a congressman.
But hear me out, Hank.
Okay.
That's a lot of time to spend on a seat that he has nothing to do with during a transition. I mean, forget legality scandals.
In his home state that he has an interest in talking to the guy whose congressional seat he took when he became governor, about something that could impact on the President of the United States. I'd say that was important enough to worry about. I'd say holding on to that seat was important for the Democrats.
Do you think there was a chance they were going to lose it?
I think in the world in which we live, anything can happen.
Well defended, Democratic strategist Hank Scheinkauf. What do you think, Miguel?
It depends on what's on those tapes. Obviously, I agree to some extent with Hank, because I mean, he is from Chicago. That was his seat.
No, we're talking about the Senate seat.
I know, but the governor had his seat. He had the governor's seat.
Everybody's got a seat.
They're all from the same Democratic political machine.
This isn't any better for the Obama. As we keep talking about it, it doesn't get any better.
Lou, no wonder they've been so quiet about it. I mean, and Rahm Emanuel hasn't said anything until now.
Not a man given to quietness.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Or would it be quiet?
I think because there's that many occasions. I mean, there's one thing if he had a meeting or two meetings and he basically says, here's our list. We want Valerie Jarrett. She should do it, which is very legitimate. But all that number of conversations, and what amazes me is certainly everything in Chicago is known by the political people. If they knew this guy's been under investigation, I'd be very, very cautious. I'd go make the decision. And I think now that Rahm has told people, and I think that he was on taped, or certainly taped this many times, that I think he has an obligation to get out there pretty quick. I mean, you can't wait till Christmas Eve.
We need to point out here, I need to point out very quickly that Rahm Emanuel, the U.S. Attorney's made it very clear, he's not a target of the investigation. But, at the same time, the Blagojevich scandal is taking interesting twists and turns here. I was talking with the venerable Chicago journalist, one of my favorite columnists, Bob Greene, today. He says, based on first what happened this morning, that is the Supreme Court in Illinois saying, no, we're not unseating the governor. You can take your ideas, Lisa Madigan, Attorney General, and forget it. They did so without comment. That was my characterization of what they said. They said, no way. This looks like, Lieutenant Governor Quinn, Lisa Madigan, the daughter of the Speaker of the House. It looks to me like, there's a little rush to judgment here, unseemly or not, on the part of the Pauls of Illinois.
Certainly not disinterested parties, Lou, and certainly what they're trying to do is open a question. Last I looked, the Constitution and law, as we know it, says, by the way, innocent until proven guilty is judged by a jury. Hold on, of one's peers, Lou, as you know, and I'll go you one better. Right. There is something wrong when grand jury testimony or grand jury information or wiretaps taken by the government are leaked to the press and a guy can't get a fair trial. Now, I don't care whether the issue here is not guilt or innocence. The issue is, how can the guy get a fair trial? And by the way, if he resigns from that office, any lawyer would say to him, it would look like you're guilty or you have something that you've done.
The reason I was bringing up Bob Greene is he says straightforwardly, Hank, he says he thinks there's a good chance that this man is not A, resigning, and B, can't be convicted, given what is in front of everyone.
And I apologize.
So you're going to apologize?
I apologize to you.
If that happens, it does damage the process. This guy has not been an honest governor. Everything's been for sale in this administration. And I agree with you, Hank, on grand jury and what have you, but the transcripts were presented as part of the indictment. The U.S. attorney had to put that 79-page document. Yes, he did. How would he make his case? How would he make his case? He made his case this way, and I think it's perfectly legitimate. And you read any U.S. attorney when they indict someone, they put the documents in there to show that they have a case.
Well, Bob Greene said it to Blue Dobbs, and I'd go by the both of them. It's going to be impossible for him to get a fair trial when that moment comes, and for him to leave office would appear, any counsel of any repute would say it would appear to be an admission of guilt, and it ain't good.
Well, it's not good to have a guy like this who basically for 6 years has been under investigation, that everything's been for sale. The process that you and I have spent our lives in, this gets damaged by a guy like this who pretends like it doesn't matter, that everything's for sale. There's a long history.
Are we worried about other people being involved? I mean, this guy, the governor, said
Frankly,
today
I'm
that
not worried about anything.
I would love to hear what it is that he said today, that he can't wait to tell his side of the story. I am dying to hear his side of the story.
Do you know what we're hearing?
There might be other people involved that we're going to find out about.
Because we're in the crazy position here of Rod Blagojevich, the governor, can't tell his side of the story because of the investigation. Barack Obama can't tell his side of the story because of the U.S. attorney. And the U.S. attorney has told his side of the story, many people think, far too early, and therefore there can't be a successful prosecution. I mean, this is a crazy, even by Illinois standards, Chicago standards, not Illinois, Chicago standards.
I don't have to remind you, this is a very respected U.S. attorney, but he went through a very long process and really didn't get anybody in the Valerie plane. I mean, the end case that he got was pretty darn weak to begin with.
Well, interestingly, we know that the Chicago Tribune has held on this story for several months, at least 2 months, before deciding to publish and giving up in frustration with his office. And therefore, some would suggest that the reason, the motivation for Patrick Fitzgerald coming out with the charges was that that publication by the Chicago Tribune, whether that's the case or not. Nonetheless, it was a remarkably patient paper holding on that story and a very cumbersome, apparently, investigation. Let's turn to something, let's turn first, before we go to the subject, I want to know what you all think about Caroline Kennedy being anointed by David Patterson. We'll be talking about that in a minute. But at the top of the hour, Campbell Brown, no bias and no bull. Campbell, what are you doing?
Hey there, Lou. In a few minutes, we're going to have breaking news, our coverage of today's pretty painful announcements about jobs and the car company's bottom lines. We're digging into the stories behind Chrysler's late afternoon announcement that it is going to close all 30 of its U.S. assembly plants for a month, followed by Ford's announcement that it is adding a week to the holiday shutdown of 10 U.S. plants. Also a little politics tonight, Lou. Illinois' embattled governor is finally talking to reporters, and so is a would-be politician who is usually very camera shy. We're going to hear what Caroline Kennedy had to say in a few minutes, Lou.
All right, Campbell, thank you. And we'll be right back with our panel, and we'll find out exactly when Caroline Kennedy is supposed to take office in the U.S. Senate.
With the phone company, you could get unlimited calls across the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico, unlimited calling to parts of Europe, and features like three-way calling, call forwarding, and voicemail. For a price that keeps adding up. Only Vonage gives you all that for the low price of $24.99 a month. How? Vonage connects your high-speed internet with your phone. Call 877-4VONAGE or go to Vonage.com. Get unlimited local and long-distance calls in the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico. Plus, free calls to 5 European countries. And 25 amazing features. All just $24.99 a month. Call 877-4VONAGE and get your first month free.
Larry King tonight. Alec Baldwin. He doesn't hold back about marriage, divorce, or anything else. Larry King Live. CNN tonight, 9 Eastern.
What do you do when you know the crowd will get a little loud?
The Pink Panther has the answer.
The Owens Corning basement finishing system is not only attractive, it's dent and stain resistant. Plus, it has insulating properties to help keep things down to a dull roar, which can come in handy. Have more questions?
The Pink Panther has the answer.
Call to learn more about the basement finishing system with a free video and design consultation. Call 1-800-NEW-BASEMENT now.
This holiday season, unwrap more than a gift. Unwrap an experience with Liberty Travel's best deals of the week. Book a magical 4-night Walt Disney World vacation and get 3 nights free, including Disney theme park tickets and a $200 Disney gift card, all for just $565, including airfare. Enjoy 5 nights of freestyle cruising to the Caribbean with Norwegian Cruise Line from $299 and receive double onboard credit of up to $500. Get up to 75% off on Aruba vacations. Call 1-877-LIBERTY or visit libertytravel.com. Liberty Travel, unbeatable.
Now. Gimme My Money Back premieres CNN this Saturday and Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
We're back with Ed Rollins, Miguel Perez, and Hank Scheinkoff. Hank, Caroline Kennedy, she's campaigning for an appointment to the Senate. Is it a done deal?
I don't think so. Look, this decision belongs with one person, Governor David Paterson, under statute. It's his to make. What she's trying to do with very fine public relations help that costs certainly a lot of money, try to create the fait accompli and force the governor into making a decision.
She refused to take reporter questions, even something as simple as, have you ever been to Syracuse before today? What's the deal there?
Look, big state, a lot of problems, north of New York City, where she has not spent a lot of time. People have been hurting for 20 years. 50% of all industrial jobs lost in this country in the mid-'80s were lost in New York State. Those people haven't been working very well. Life's been tough. They're going to want somebody who's going to fight for them and stand up and do it, and she doesn't have the experience to do that.
Half the people in Western New York, and this is an amazing statistic, half the people in Western New York are on government payroll or dole, one or the other. And that's an extraordinary.
Well, there's no jobs there. I mean, it's an extraordinary statement to begin with. We need someone who basically be an advocate for New York, for particularly upstate New York, that certainly has very serious problems. The problem with this campaign is you can go in quietly and you can say, I want to be one of the choice. Don't go out and run a campaign. If you want to run a campaign, go take some of the Kennedy money and say, as I said the other night on your show, I don't care who the governor appoints, I'm going to run in 2 years when the seat's up. But to basically go out and have the New York Times running multiple pages about how qualified she is.
By the way, that paper may be done.
And every Kennedy accolade in the world from her cousin saying how extremely qualified she is. You know, she's qualified under the Constitution. She's 30 years old and a citizen of the state. But other than that, there's not a single thing that she's done to basically make her
I still love what Congressman Gary Ackerman said. You know, you can't see what her qualifications are other than name identification, and J-Lo
has more.
Has that. So what do you think?
Well, look, Hillary Clinton didn't know much of New York State when she became the senator. Right. Remember, she was an out-of-towner. So that's one point. But, you know, look, I wonder how many calls Rahm Emanuel has made to David Paterson and whether Obama is involved. Because, you know, remember, David Paterson is a supporter of Obama. Is Obama having any influence here? Because Kennedy supported Obama. It's all connected. I mean, the whole Chicago thing is moving east.
And Hank has already, Miguel, laid down the metric here, 21 conversations for an empty Senate seat in Illinois, at least 10, maybe 11 in New York.
In Illinois, the Kennedys could buy a Senate seat. They buy a presidency.
Let me go back to the Hillary thing, though. Remember, Hillary Clinton had an extraordinary career before she got to New York as an advocate for children, as an advocate for education reform.
You're not sitting here defending Hillary Clinton.
Well, what I'm trying to do is let's get the Hillary Clinton thing off the table and talk about Caroline Kennedy.
She is off the table. She's on her way to Secretary of State. But what I find fascinating is 26% of New Yorkers want Attorney General Andrew Cuomo. Only 23% want to see Kennedy. What's the, if you will, the relationship there?
Well, look. Certainly Andrew Cuomo was married to a Kennedy divorce, but the facts are that Andrew Cuomo would be terrific in that job, could help the governor get elected, could get elected himself, could raise the money, and would be a great advocate for New York. New York needs a junkyard dog, doesn't need a cocktail party in Midtown.
And does no politics.
But the great news is you're talking about two political family brand names. I mean, has it really come to that in this country where you've got to have a family brand name? Are we suddenly a dynastic society? Well, good luck to all of us.
The difference is that Cuomo has earned his wings in the state of New York as a politician here.
You know, look, I'm an honest broker on this one. I was the consultant that took him out of the governor's race in 2002. We know that. Look, I have tremendous respect for Andrew Cuomo. He's done a spectacular job as Attorney General, and he deserves the shot.
I would argue after 8 years of Bush, we ought to do away with the legacies, and that people ought to basically run for offices, get elected to the offices. And if you're going to
well, it's up to the people. I mean, if we're dumb enough to keep doing this, God bless us. We're going to have to run. Thanks, guys. Up next, the results of our poll and more of your thoughts. We're coming right back. Dynasty. I love that. Dynasty.